a special episode of Sleep for Performance Radio. Today I'm joined by Cyrus Milne. Now, Cyrus, how old are you?
17.
17. So under the Child Safety Protection Act of 1976, Section 2, Paragraph 4, I just made that up, Cyrus has to be accompanied by his mother, who joins us today as well. And your mother's name is?
Kelly.
Kelly what?
Kelly Milne.
So Kelly is joining us today to sit in with Cyrus, so I don't take advantage of Cyrus and get him to do any hard labour because he's underage, or I don't get Cyrus to clean the office or anything else. So Kelly will be supervising and moderating this whole conversation today. She gave a thumbs up. No, I wanted to have Kelly in as well because Kelly is instrumental in helping out Cyrus in an event that Cyrus is doing. So Cyrus, we're going to start from the future. And I'm going to work it back and talk about why you got to do this. What are you going to be doing in about 12 months' time?
The English Channel.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to swim the English Channel solo.
You're going to swim the English Channel solo. So how long is the English Channel?
36 kilometers, I believe.
And what's that in the old money in miles?
23, I think.
23 miles. We need to work that out later on. All right, so about 23 miles. And where are you going to swim from? You're going to swim from England to France or France to...
England to France.
England to France. So why did it go England to France and not France to England?
I'm actually not too sure. That's just how they do it.
That's how they do it. That's the way the wind blows and that's the way you go. Yeah? So where do you start in England? What's the location?
Dover, I believe.
Dover. So they're on the ferry from Dover to Calais. And then where do you finish? Around Calais as well?
Yeah,
nobody can hear you, Kelly, speaking over here because you don't have a microphone.
It depends on the tides.
If you want to jump in, you got to sit in his lap and jump in. But you can jump in, Kelly, anytime. But we don't have any sonic. Put your hand up if you have a question. Full disclosure, I know Kelly from Jiu-Jitsu. Kelly trains at a local gym here in Perth. She trains with myself and my wife. So that's why we know each other and take the piss. So that's why. And Cyrus is Kelly's son, as you've worked out by now, who also does Jiu-Jitsu as well. So when are you going to do this? When next year? 2020?
August 2020.
August 2020. So now we're in June. This will go in a few weeks. So about 13, 14 months away.
Yeah.
So what made you want to do the English Channel Swim?
Well, I did it in a team in 2016. And it's always been kind of on my bucket list to go back and do it on my own, especially with the solos I've done since my team swim. But actually, recently, I was going to quit swimming. But a friend of mine, she said, I'm going to do the English Channel. Come do it with me. Well, yeah, I might as well before I start working or don't have enough time to swim.
So why did you want to quit swimming? Why?
I've just been doing it for so many years now. And I had to change coaches recently because my old coach retired. And so I was getting a little bit sick of swimming, thought maybe I'd done enough. But then when, the challenge was presented to me again, I just couldn't turn it down.
And so when you were swimming sort of growing up, now that you're very old at 17, when you were swimming growing up, did you swim predominantly in swimming pools at pool meets, or was it all open water or a mixture of two?
Growing up, I mostly swam pools, like the basic swim lessons, like your level 1, 2, whatever. And then when I started high school, that's when I got into a squad in the pool.
Yep.
Because I had to pick a sport. I had between soccer, cricket, and swimming, and I always loved swimming. So I thought I'd give it a go, and then from there it just went on.
Just went on from there. So and then progressively you got into more open water swimming.
Yeah, the coach. We started training for that team swim, the English Channel. That was 2 years. 2 years of training, and that was part of our training, was to do the open water swims.
So you must have been quite young when you did that, 14, 15?
Actually, I think I was 14 when I did the swim, but Jesus. When I started the training, I was 12, I think.
That's a big undertaking for a young adolescent. How did you find it difficult to maintain that kind of rigor in the training and the discipline being so young? Surely you must have wanted to go, forget about this, I just want to eat chocolate, play video games and hang around with my mates and be cool. Yeah, definitely.
When I first started, I was doing 3 days a week. I started at 7, only swam for about an hour. And then the coach, she said, I think you have the potential to be a distance swimmer. How'd you like to swim the English Channel?
Yeah.
So when I said yes, my 3 days a week turned into 6, and my 7 o'clock start turned into a 6 o'clock start. And I had to do Saturdays as well. And the first few months in, I thought, I want to quit. Like, there's no way I can keep this up. And then I started to think about the long term, because in 2 years, this team's going to come back and they're going to have achieved this amazing swim. And I just thought, well, in 2 years, it's going to feel like no time went by at all. I thought I'd push it out, and then I'd have a story to tell when I'm older.
So the kind of the thought of like finishing that swim, being part of that team, is what actually drove you to get up each morning and do these swims.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's quite a mature way of looking at it for a young person, because I know most 40-year-olds that probably wouldn't even have that sort of, staying power to stay on a task and have that grit and determination to keep with the training. And getting up each morning is quite hard for even adults. But as a young person, you'd like to sleep in the morning, like to go to bed late. How did you cope with the sleep part of it?
It was a big adjustment. I can't say I'm still completely good at it. The getting up every morning definitely had its toll on me. And then I trained my martial arts at night, which would go late. So that would affect. I always tried to get at least 8 hours of sleep, so I wouldn't be too tired in the morning.
Yeah.
And then, I always tried to be very strict on going to bed at a certain time so that I wouldn't be too tired.
So you don't have any much time then for going out and getting drunk, catching up with boys, girls, whatever you're into, or playing video games, or robbing orchards, or breaking into people's cars, none of that?
No, I kind of lost my social life pretty quick.
That's not a social life. I'm describing life as a not a social life. I'm describing my life. No. Kelly just looked out the window. She's reminiscing. So that's quite interesting. So you did the team crossing the Channel Swim. What did that feel like to be sort of out there in the stuck between two countries, swimming from one country to another in this team of four? What did that feel like?
Well, actually, when we got there, the weather was too dangerous for us to actually go straight across the channel. So we got to do an alternate swim, which was 60 kilometers along the coast. So that's almost double the distance of the regular channel.
That sounds fair. Yeah.
And most people, we were quite disappointed that we didn't get to do the initial swim that we set out, we trained 2 years for. But I tried to be a little more optimistic to think, well, we're the first people to ever do this alternate swim. And it's also really longer than what we intended.
So you did a 60K swim?
Yeah, 60K.
So what did you do, like 20 minutes on each, 20 minutes off, or half an hour? How did that work?
We did an hour each.
An hour each. So how many hours did it take you to that 60?
It took us 8 hours, 19 minutes.
Jesus, that's pretty good going. I think in my duo this year, first time ever, it took us about the same time to do 20Ks with two people. So, but then again, what was the team all young? Were they all like 15, 16, 17? Or were they,
So I was 14. I think the oldest on the team was 15.
Jesus, you're all so young doing that. That's some undertaking to do that at that age, and to have that kind of mindset to achieve that. So you did 60Ks, and where did that go, around the coast of England?
So we started in Dover, and I can't quite remember how far, but we went however many Ks up, and then 30 Ks up, and then 30 Ks back.
Yeah. Now, people are probably sitting at home or in their car listening to this going, yeah, that's all right. It's all right between four people, but you don't get to wear a wetsuit, do you?
No, just Speedos.
Speedos, yeah. And so the water is about what temperature?
It was 17 degrees when we did it, but we trained in 14 before going.
So it felt warm.
Yeah, well, not when you first jump in, it kind of takes your breath away, and then but we got into it.
Yeah, so your marbles went up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's why I didn't go to the beach when I grew up in Ireland. So, this is interesting because, like, I did my very first long distance swim this year, as you know, in the Port to Pub, did the duo, and the week before we did the duo, one of my paddlers said to me, "Well, the weather's looking bad, but it won't be too bad. You won't get too cold with the wetsuit." And I went, "What?" And he goes, "With the wetsuit." And I went, "What are you talking about the wetsuit?" I said, "You can't wear a wetsuit." He goes, "What? You can't wear a wetsuit?" I said, "No." "Oh, I suppose you can't wear fins either," he goes. I went, "No, you can't. You can't wear a wetsuit and you can't wear fins." "Oh, that's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be." He goes, "Have you been training?" I went, "Yeah, it's next week. I've been training for months." And so he was like, "Oh, I just assumed when you did the Rottnest swim that you could just go in a wetsuit and you could wear fins, pool boy, paddles, whatever you wanted. I was like, no, mate, no. That's like, you don't get an official time for that. So I think a lot of people think that when you do these big open water swims that you're allowed to do have all these additional things. But to get a verified or qualified or, official race time in a lot of these open water swims around the world, you can't wear a wetsuit or fins. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Or it doesn't become an official time. It doesn't count as an official swim.
An official swim, yeah. And I think in the Port to Pub, they had 2 categories this year. You have wetsuit and non-wetsuit, so 2 different groups. So let's just so you did that. We spoke about what you want to do next year. We rewound to the start of where you started with the long distance swimming. But since that team event, you've done a number of solo swims. Now, we're based here in Perth in Western Australia. There's an island off there that's 20 k's called Rottnest, and because it's there and because people have nothing better to do, people try to swim there. So you got 2 big events every year: Rottnest Channel Swim and the Port to Pub, which happen within 3 weeks of each other. And you've done a number of those. So what was the first crossing you did?
The first crossing I did was a 20k solo to Rottnest.
In what year was that? So
that would have been the next year, so 2015.
So you were 15, 16 again?
15, just turned 15.
Just turned 15, you did a 20k open water swim to Rottnest.
Yeah.
On your own?
Yep.
No fins?
No fins.
No wetsuit?
No wetsuit.
No paddles?
No.
No armbands?
No, just...
No toys? No
just
ducks?
me.
No nothing, just you. How long did that take you and how did you go on that?
6.5 hours.
6.5 hours?
And it was good. I think I held quite a steady pace the whole way. Definitely had a mental toll towards the end. The feeling of it's never going to end.
Yeah.
And you almost want to quit because the option's always there because you always have the boat next to you. So all it is.
It's very tempting, isn't it?
It does get tempting.
Yeah,
definitely.
And so when you did that swim, where did you finish? Because you were quite good, weren't you? Quite quick at these swims.
This year or that year, I think I was 30 something place, and there was
quite good. Yeah.
I think there's over 100 people doing it, solo.
So you placed there, and then this year you did the Rottnest Channel Swim, which is 20 k's, and then you also did the Port to Pub Ultramarathon Swim, which is 25 k's.
Yes.
How did you go on those ones this year?
Good. Actually, I didn't do the 20k this year.
Oh, that's right. You did
that was the year
duo.
before.
You did the duo this year.
Yep.
Yeah. So you did the duo, but you did quite well in that, didn't you?
Yeah. We came fifth in the duo.
And then how did you go on the ultramarathon at 25k?
Good. I came 7th overall. It was 7.5 hours. And that one, I had quite the rough night before going into the swim.
Tell us about that night there, Cyrus. What did you do the night before you did a 25k swim that you've been training months for? Tell everybody what you did.
Well, we had our school ball that night before, so we're out dancing and having fun. That went till about 11 o'clock. And then against my better judgments, I went to the after party, which my friend said I should not go to, but I decided to anyway.
Yeah.
Had a little too much to drink.
You mean alcohol?
Yep, okay. Alcohol. And I got home.
You're 17, but anyway, go on, yeah. Yeah.
Got home around 2 o'clock in the morning. Fell asleep around 2:30. Woke up at 3:30, so I was an hour of sleep. I was not feeling great that morning, and then went down to the swim and did a 25-kilometer swim.
Do you think if you maybe slept a little bit extra, you might have finished better than 7th?
Yeah, possibly.
People like you make me sick.
Yeah.
I want to bounce your head off the wall at the moment that you were able to go out and do that. I wish I was 17. If I don't go to bed and get 8 hours at the age of 40, I can't even walk the next day. Never mind swim 25 k's. So there is the resilience of young people. So that is really interesting, so we're not advocating that, but when you're 17, you can probably override that with other energy systems, but as you get older, I don't know if I could do that. Could you do that, Kelly?
No, never.
Okay, so that's, yeah. So there's where skill and willpower and age all come together to make that. So that swim, that 25k swim, that was my first ever crossing in a duo. Can you tell people what that day was like as you were swimming at 25k, in conjunction at the same time? What was that water like in terms of the conditions and what was going on? What was that like in terms of other swims?
Well, it was actually probably one of the hardest swims I've done so far. And not because it was 25 kilometers, but because that first hour or hour and a half, however long it took me to do that first 5K.
The hangover period, we'll call it, yeah?
Yeah.
So the hangover period.
It was just jellyfish. Constant stingers along that coast of Cottesloe. And that was probably the most painful experience of my life. I think I still have faint marks from the stings. And that was enough to almost make me quit.
So you wanted to quit at that time?
Yeah, I met up with my kayaker. We paddled back to the boat. And I said to Mom, I think I'm going to quit.
And so just hold there for a moment. Ma'am, what did you say to Cyrus when he said, I want to quit?
Are you really sure you want to do that? How about you go for another 30 minutes and we'll see how you feel?
That's the kind version. I think she said something like, you are not fucking getting out of that water.
That is the exact words.
You are fucking swimming, Cyrus. That's what she said.
Yeah.
This is a non-edited podcast. That's what she said to him. She's so polite. Look at that. So anyway, you got past the jellyfish. Ma'am said, stay in the fucking water you're swimming. What happened next?
So I thought, right, I'll keep going. I'll see how far I can go.
I'd rather die with jellyfish than Mammy.
Yeah. And I was, I could still feel the stings almost the whole way there. But something, I can't quite explain it. It was about an hour and a half in after doing that 5K. And something clicked in me. It was like, right, I can sit here and I can cry about the pain and want to quit, or I can pick up my pace and get it done. And that's a hard thing to say when you've still got 20 Ks to go. But I did it. I picked up my pace, started going faster. And then from there, my mental state went up. I wasn't feeling as sorry for myself.
So over the hangover, yeah?
Over the hangover. And then I just kept the pace up and then tried to get there as fast as I could.
And did you feel better as you went on through the race?
Yes, much better. Now that I wasn't in that negative state of mind, I felt more positive, and I was swimming for each next feed. It was much better after that.
I think it's a really important point where no matter what activity you're doing, is about being in the right mindset doing it. If you're going to show up to training or practice, be in the right mindset. You're there to do a job, sort of get on with it. And we all feel like shit some days. We all feel tired. We're over it. We all rock up to the gym to do jiu-jitsu or go for a run or go for a swim, and you're like, I just don't want to do this. But at the end, you always feel better than when you started. There's never, for me anyway, there's never a negative impact from doing it and pushing through. So it's interesting that, you sort of just knuckle down and pushed it through. When you're doing these swims, how... you're doing a solo, you have a kayaker who's kind of leading your direction, you have a boat then that's going parallel as support crew, and like you said, it's very tempting to want to just jump into that boat because people are on the boat laughing, drinking coffee and, having a good time and drinking wine and champagne, whatever else they're doing. And then you've got the kayaker beside you who's able to feed you. How do you get the food and the drink from the kayaker? And what do you eat or drink that doesn't, that can stay down? Because a lot of people have trouble getting sick. So what do you do? What's your kind of secret to this?
So some people, like to feed from the kayak, but I prefer to feed from the boat. So the boat will come next to me. We got a really long stick that's got buckets to put whatever the food I'm going to eat in, and the drink with a rope attached to it, so that when I'm done, I can just leave it. Don't need to worry about putting it back in the bucket. In terms of food, I normally have baby food. Comes in those little yogurt like pouches, so it's very quick and easy to get down. And when you're out there, you don't care what it tastes like. Like it's
you just get into it.
And your mouth is so salty anyway that you can't taste anything towards the end. I also have power shots, or those energy shots.
Like the little gels.
The gel shot. And then normally some Powerade to go with that to wash it down. And then towards the end, I'll start having lollies for that sugar rush, and maybe a Coke. Just give me that extra sugar to get on.
So you use flat Coke or?
Yep.
Yeah. So you say this stick with a bucket, so it's a bucket and the drinks are in the bucket, so like kind of a squeezy bottle in the bucket, just throw it back into the bucket. Yeah. That's a good idea. The baby foods, is the tops off the baby foods in the bucket already? So good ideas. I'm actually just asking questions from me for next year, to be honest with you. This is, because I have now openly committed to trying a solo next year. I'm going to go for the solo on the Port to Pub, not the Rottnest one. I really like the Port to Pub.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I just found it more relaxed, and I've never been to Rottnest Channel Swim, so I can't, but I just really like the Port to Pub. I like the end. I just like the whole event. It was really nice, well managed, so I'm looking at doing a solo next year. And because this year the weather was probably so choppy and bad, And because I got through that, and I vomited from about 10 or 12 Ks right through to about 18 Ks in the water on the boat. And I thought, a bit like yourself, mental resolve. I was sitting on the boat, obviously doing a duo. And I was like, I want to quit. And then I just thought, if I quit, the paddlers and the guy driving the boat, they're never going to let me down. They're going to take the piss out of me for the rest of my life. And because I take the piss out of most people, I knew it would be just deserved, and they would sew it into me. So I was like, I'm not giving them the satisfaction, right? So I jumped back in the water, puked, and just kept swimming. So I puked every which way. And so that's why I'm asking about what strategy you use for the food and the drink. Because it's in a lot of endurance events, whether it be swimming or running, it's very hard. And I struggled for a few years in ultra running to get lots of food, to get food and drink into me. But then as I, got my systems down as I went on, I was able to do like 100 miles at altitude because I had my food strategy down. And so my formula for me was the E3 formula, which we'll talk about in a moment, and baby foods as well, and those block shots things as well. They were kind of my main staples to get into me. And you're right, because you just can't taste shit after a while.
No.
And you go through all these different phases. So yeah, you just want to get calories into you. You don't really care. So this year, or for the Channel Swim, you have E3.
Yes.
As a sponsor. How are you finding that so far?
It's great. I've been taking it to training in the mornings, and it's making me feel quite good when I train. Like I feel I've got more energy. I recover faster from fatigue. It's a great drink.
Yeah, I really like. I tried a number of different drinks, and I got onto it sort of by the same thing, and I like it because it's got magnesium, potassium and sodium, so it's good for dehydration. It sits really well in your guts as well compared to some of the other drinks, and I find for swimming it's probably better than any other one. I used it for long distance running for a number of years, but I think a swimmer invented it originally because he was a long distance swimmer. He swam around Manhattan, I think maybe twice. God, I nearly strangled myself here, hold on.
The guy who originally invented it was one of Cyrus's coach's first channel swimmers.
Selwyn. Yes. I forgot his name and I remember that. Selwyn. Yeah. So you know Selwyn.
Yeah. I don't know him.
The coach that Cyrus has had for years, Selwyn was her student for his channel crossing.
Very good. Yeah. So I think now Selwyn Sola and Lyndon now has picked it up, and he's kindly offered to support Cyruss in this crazy swim next year. So E3, that's the letter E and the number 3. I can't pronounce English. The champion formula. So check it out on. I think it's on Amazon now. You can buy it on Amazon. They've got a Facebook page, website. Great formula. It's an awesome product. I really enjoy it. So me and Cyrus don't get paid by them. I don't even get free products. Obviously, Cyrus does as part of his sponsorship, but look, it's a great product, so I really advocate using it. And also, they're a local business here in Western Australia, supporting Western Australian athletes, so I really like it. But Cyrus, people are listening to this going, that guy doesn't sound like he's from Australia. Where are you from originally?
Canada.
So really, that's a state in America, isn't it?
No.
Look at Kelly. Look at she bites every time. She can't help it. She needs a maple leaf tattoo on her forehead. So you're from Canada. Whereabouts in Canada?
Alberta. Red Deer, Alberta.
Red Deer, Alberta. And so how long have you been living in Western Australia?
Almost 11 years now.
And you still haven't lost the accent?
Not quite.
It's really interesting because some people come over to Australia at 17, 18, lose the accent, sound completely Australian. And then other people, so you'd come over here like as a kid, 7, 8 years of age, and you still have a and you still have a Canadian accent.
Yeah, well, my parents, obviously, they still have it because they grew up there, and I guess I'm around them a lot, so.
Oh, so you're Canadian as well, Kelly? Because you sound very American to me. You're very much like a New Yorker. Now she's making Italian gestures at me. It's terrible. We need a camera on this podcast to see what's going on. Yes, I find it quite interesting that some people lose it. So you're more Australian now than you are Canadian, really?
Well, I guess I've been here longer than I was there.
Yeah. I'm nearly the same. I'm tipping nearly half my time after being in Australia. So I've been like 17, 18 years here now. So, yeah. So that's... So do you come from a swimming family?
No.
Because Alberta's not on the coast, is it?
No.
Are you mountain goats? What's the background there? Any interest in sport in the family? Kelly's hanging her head in shame.
No.
So you're just this natural untapped talent that just happened to come across swimming.
Yeah.
Pure chance.
Well, I remember when I was being very little in Canada, like I always loved being at the pool and putting my head underwater. And then...
Mum was just washing you. She was bringing you to the pool. She didn't have money for a bath.
And then moving to Australia, we got put into those swim lessons, so the levels. And then in primary school, we had like a small inter-school where we'd verse other schools, and I participated in that. I really enjoyed it. And then from high school, I just took it to that next level.
Yeah, I think this is something that's really good in Australia. The whole system around teaching kids how to swim and into adulthood is really good. Whereas like us growing up in Ireland, yeah, you go and do a few lessons, but it's just kind of playtime, splash around, you know, don't drink the water, don't die. And so for me, taking up swimming a year and a half ago, 14, 15 months ago, it's been very difficult because of not having that kind of, you know, that skill set. So when you get into the pool and the coaches go out a master squad, right, we're going to do medley. I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Well, just leave out the butterfly. I can't do the others. Just leave out breaststroke. Okay. Just leave out. Okay, just do freestyle. Because I can only do like one stroke. I got really happy a couple of weeks ago because I did 100 meters of backstroke without having a heart attack. Because I used to do backstroke and I would progressively just be going down under the water at a 15-degree angle. So I'd be swimming down. And it'd be like, swim up. And I'm like, and I would just go underneath. So that's how bad I am at swimming. But I do enjoy the challenge. And like yourself, Cyrus, I enjoy the open water challenge as well. I think that's pretty good. How do you feel when you're out there in the water? A lot of people are scared of sharks, jellyfish, all their sorts of monsters out there. What goes through your mind when you're out there in the middle of it?
Sharks have never really bothered me for whatever reason. But I do find that it is important that you don't think about that kind of stuff, because I have scared myself before when I start thinking about shark attacks and whatever. So I stay very focused on the swim. And because it's open water, there are generally other people around you, so you're trying to overtake them, not get overtaken. And in terms of jellyfish, apart from that one port de pub that was horrible, in open water, I've kind of gotten used to them now.
Yeah.
Just getting stung constantly.
Yeah, I think with jellyfish, like I got stung in the port de pub and I've had a few stings in the water trend, and it's kind of like, all right, some are like just bearable and others make you kind of go, oh, fuck. And it's like, gets you for like a couple of days. But generally, yeah. Funny, I asked you a question about the sharks because in the middle of the swim this year, I was puking so much, I was vomiting under the water. As I was taking a breath out, I was vomiting under. When I take a breath, I was vomiting out. I was vomiting every angle. And then one of the guys in the kayak was laughing. And I went, oh, do you see any sharks? He goes, no. I said, oh, I wish there would be. I said, because I wish someone would come and just fucking take me right now. I was sick of getting sick, right? And he was laughing. So I was just like, I was completely over it, about 15 Ks in. So that's why I ask you what the sharks are. People ask. But I'm like you. I just think, it is what it is, statistically speaking. Very low probability, probably more chance of some idiot running into you on the road texting than there is again killed by a shark. And if it happens, well, so be it. At least you're doing something. You're living.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a shark out there?
No, but on my first or second crossing, I did see the helicopter go down, and that's where a lot of people got pulled out because of the shark. So I was lucky enough to be ahead of it, but I knew what that helicopter was. Like, they tried to tell me it wasn't, but I'm like, I know that's a shark, and they're trying to scare it away.
Just sightseeing, man. Just people from Birdswood Casino having a look around. Keep swimming, yeah. So you got this swim next year. You've obviously built up from the Channel Swim with the team. You've done a couple of big crossings yourself. You participate in lots of the local swims around Perth over the last year. Now you're starting to come into this pointy end with about a year to go for the Channel Swim. What events are you going to do in the lead up, and how are you going to train for this big event?
Well, next year I'm going to do another Rotto crossing. So either the Port de Pub or the Rottnest. And for training, I'm going to keep training every day up until the swim as much as I can. And then do lots of cold water training on the weekends, because that's a very important part, doing the English Channel Swim. So
how are you going to train for cold water? What are you going to do?
Right now we go down to the river or Bicton Baths, and the water is very cold there in the mornings, 14 degrees at the moment, and we swim in there for a few hours, and then that's kind of how your body adjusts to being in the water.
So is there evidence that actually you do adjust from having that daily exposure to that?
Yeah, I believe so.
The Bicton Baths. Well, it's like a swimming pool in the river.
It's like a pier that goes like around three sides from the shore, and so the coach can follow her squad and give them instructions, and you gives a false sense of security that you're not in the open water. And they start at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and it is from the outside, looking at them, it's bitterly cold, just standing there, rugged up. And you can see, like, they started at 15 minutes in there, and that was like their get out, too cold. And now they've built up to being able to do an hour without, shriveling up.
Well, it might be shriveling up, but you don't know. So what distance, like, can you do laps in there? What's the distance around there?
They do laps around it. I'm not. One lap would probably be about 50 meters.
Yeah, almost 50 meters.
Okay, so it's quite small in the river. Oh yeah, so people are going, it's in the river, so it's not too bad with sharks. It's probably more bull sharks in the river than there is sharks in the ocean, because the river is quite bad with bull sharks. Does that worry you, Cyrus? I'm trying to put all these bad thoughts in your head.
A little while ago, the river did worry. For some reason, in the ocean, I'm never scared, but the river, I've always had a little bit of a problem with.
The river freaks me out, personally.
And it's murky as well.
It's real murky here. Yeah. So I'm involved with Claremont Masters, and they run the Perth Swim Through every year, which has been going for like 100 years now. And I swam in it this year for the first time. And I just did like the 1.6 or something, I think, because I was volunteering to the registrations. And I was like, I am not happy here. And it was 40 degrees, bright sunny day. And I could see shit under the water. I could see nothing. I could barely see my hand. And I was like, I don't like this. Lots of jellyfish, but they don't sting you. But I was like, if a bull shark comes here, you are gone. You won't know about it, like grabs you right in the face. Yeah. So that river scares me.
Yeah.
So I hope you have fun there tomorrow morning at 5.
Thank you.
I'll be in bed with my electric blanket and my new Peter Alexander pajamas that I bought for $29.99 this week on special, which generally retail at $89.99. I don't know why I told you that. So anyway, where was I going? I digressed again. So lots of open water swims. You're going to do a solo, and then you head over to the UK in July?
August,
sorry, to do this swim. Do you have a date? Have you been given a date?
August 26th to September 1st is his window.
Oh, so you have a window. So it depends on the weather then within that window what you can do. All right. So, Cyruss, this is a very costly event. And so we're going to switch over now to Mama Bear here and ask her, how much money is this going to cost, Mama Bear and Co?
Around upwards of $20,000.
So minimum of $20,000. This is probably got flights over there, hire a boat, equipment, not to mention the training that leads up to it, physiotherapy, whatever it might be, Big Ten bat fees, which I'll be collecting tomorrow morning, and, jocks, socks, all little consumables goes along with it. You reckon about 20,000?
20,000 before the training. That would do flights, boats, food while we're over there. If something happens that the weather turns on us when we're over there, which has happened to us in the past, then you have to re-sign up, and accommodation is another, maybe another 2 weeks. We have to pay to change your flights again. It's so costly, and it's Dover. So that's hard work to justify that. You have to coaches fees, and then you have to have a medic on board as well. And we've got one that we've used in the past for the last one who knows Cyrus, has trained with him before. So that's who we want to take over, to have with Cyrus on the boat, just to make sure that everything's going well, that he's not hypothermic, that, if something turns wrong, he'll say, okay, no, get him off the boat right away, or no, he's fine, have him keep going. All things that I don't ever want to be in charge of. To have someone with that expertise there is quite important. And so, you kick in for their flight, and we're lucky enough that he's got family over there, so we don't have to pay for his accommodation. Cyrus, flight for me, flight for Cyrus, and then just the boat is ridiculously expensive. I think it's 5,000 pounds just for the boat.
Jesus, I need to get to the boat hire business. Right, so We have committed to Cyrus at Melius Consulting, which is the consulting arm of the. Obviously, people know we have this podcast, but there's a jug of water there if you want some water. We got Sleep for Performance. We also have the consulting arm of the business, which is Melius Consulting, where we do health, safety, and improvement. So Melius Consulting will be providing some money towards supporting Cyruss for his swim next year, and we're happy to announce as well that we'll be increasing that, and it'll now be to $2,500. So we'll increase that. How does that sound?
That's amazing. Thank
That'll
you.
get you going, won't it?
Yeah.
That'll get you a few vodka shots the night before the race. I don't want you. If you go do vodka shots the night before the race, I'm telling you, my friend, we're in for trouble, right?
Well, at least I'll be 18 when I do the race.
Oh, you'll be 18. No, you'll be swimming the channel. That's at least you'll be swimming the channel. That's what's going to happen. So we're going to be kicking in $2,500 to help Cyrus next year to do that. So Cyrus, you're also going to be raising money for charity as well.
Yes, the Epilepsy WA Foundation.
Okay, so you're going to be trying to raise money for this foundation over the next year or so as well. So look, everybody has heard Cyrus's story today. What we would like to do is put a shout out to everybody listening. If you have any money that you would like to support Cyrus with, either personally or through a business, please get in contact with us. We will put all the information in the show notes. If you can't afford it, that's cool. Spread the word. We really appreciate that. If you want to throw some money into the Epilepsy Foundation as well, that'd be great. Any which way you can support us. If it's not monetary wise, please share the episode of the podcast, share out the information, and try to drum up some stuff. Look, there's lots of money around there, we know, especially in a town like Perth. More millionaires per capita, so to say, anywhere else in Australia. So if there's any businesses out there, please get in contact. Now, for that, Cyrus is generally going to help support your business too, two ways. Cyrus is going to fly the flag, so to speak. He's going to have a flag on a boat. He's going to have all the business logos on there. He's going to promote the logos as well. We're looking at developing a website as well to promote this, which will have your company logo on there as well. So on any sort of media that we get around this, we're going to be pumping up all the logos as well. So your business will get, some promotional value out of this as well. But more importantly, you will be helping a member of the Perth Western Australian community to undertake this challenge. And if you're not in Perth in Western Australia, you're going to be helping a young man achieve something that most of us, strive to achieve. So this man here, as you've heard his story, from the age of 12, has had this great determination, which can transfer into many parts of our life and may help other people get up off the couch and try and do some other things. It's an inspiring story. So if you can help in any which way, please do. Now, whilst Cyrus does inspire me, to swim more, and and it's not like an inspiration. It's like, oh wow, look at Cyrus. It's more like that little fucking bastard. He can swim that, and I can't do that. I'm gonna fucking show him. But there is another thing. When we go to jiu-jitsu, what happens at jiu-jitsu, Cyrus?
I do not win.
And so when we grapple at jiu-jitsu, I'm a lot older than Cyrus, obviously, but I'm also a lot heavier than him. When we grapple at jiu-jitsu, much to Kelly's delight, I hold Cyrus on the ground and shout, "Swim! Swim, swim." And then Kelly takes pictures and puts them on Facebook and says, "This is the best thing I've ever seen." And where Cyrus just lies there and goes, "Oh, not again." My wife has accused me of being a bully. Maybe I was, but it was quite funny. Because it was, a week after Port the Pub?
Yeah.
So look, guys, if you can help out Cyrus in any shape, way or form, we really appreciate it. Like I said, Melius Consulting is kicking in some money. Stay tuned to this. This episode will be out. We're going to check in with Cyrus just before the Channel Swim as well. And we'll also do an episode after to see how he got on. But look, we wish you the best of luck, mate, in your training over the next year. And thanks for coming in and having a chat with us today. And hopefully we can get you up past that 20 grand, Kelly. Hopefully we can get you up towards 30. If not, we'll sell any other kids you have or anything else you have to try and get the money. And we'll get there.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Thanks, you very much.